I've noticed that as the years go by, more people are expressing how nihilistic they are on the internet. I myself was like this once. I would jump from philosophy to philosophy, from self-help book to self-help book, but nothing was able to fill that existential void in my heart. Every day, waking up felt like I had bricks lying on my chest. The first thought that would cross my mind every morning was, damn, it turns out I'm still here. Every day, I was faced with the unbearable question, how can anyone ever find meaning in a meaningless, indifferent universe? Only much later did I realize that the reason I couldn't escape nihilism was because I was thinking about it in the wrong way. What does the internet think nihilism is? Nihilism is the belief that nothing matters. The world has no inherent meaning, whatever you do is insignificant for the universe. Simple, right? Yes, but wrong. What nihilism is actually really complex, and depending on who you ask, it takes on a vastly different shape. So the way to deal with nihilism is very different depending on each view. But this video will be mainly based on Friedrich Nietzsche's idea of nihilism. When we grow up, we're led to believe that the already established values are the only true ones to live by. Maybe you grew up in a family that values making your parents proud above anything else. Maybe you grew up in a community that values a certain faith as the only acceptable one. Or maybe you grew up in a country that values blind loyalty to its flag above life itself. As we grow up, we often lose these values. This can lead to an identity crisis, as you're not really sure anymore what to believe in. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe falling out with the traditional values was freeing for you. But even so, you have become nihilistic. Once upon a time, you really liked to live, to play games, make art, eat pizza. But then you learned about the unimaginable size of the universe. So now the only thing you can think about is how little the things you once liked to do matter against the greatness of the universe. Or maybe you watched a little too much Extinct Zoo and learned about all those species of animals that came before us. You can't help but think, what kind of authority do humans really have in claiming to be made in the image of God when we're not even one of nature's backthoughts? Whatever your case may be, think about what we, so-called believers in nothing, are really doing here. We're not only devaluating earthly things, but we're also transferring all that value to cosmic things. The great universe becomes the thing we value the most. This means that nihilists are actually just changing their focus of value from little earthly things to huge cosmic concepts like death, impermanence, or indifference. It's not that nihilistic people value nothing, but that they value things that are too great for their own good. It's humanly impossible to not give value to anything because that's how we see the world. So does that mean that nihilistic people are just confused idiots? No, because the thing about nihilism isn't that things lose their meaning, but that they gain too much of it. For Nietzsche, inserting values in things, like how the tooth fairy puts money under pillows and making them look mystical by comparing them to earthly things, is already nihilism. Realizing that traditional values lack inherent meaning is only the phase of nihilism where it becomes visible, what people wrongly call nihilism as a whole, but it was always here. Now, how do you overcome this? By realizing that the traditional ways aren't absolute truths. You're already halfway there. In that case, how do you finish the job? You have to go to the end of nihilism. By becoming actively nihilistic, you bash each traditional value with a hammer. Gott ist tot und wir haben ihn getötet. Meaning the traditional values are no more and we were the ones that destroyed them, fully consciously. By seeing to the end of nihilism, you neither let yourself be guided by man-made values posing as absolute truths, nor do you call things greater than you absolute truths. So then, what are you left with? You're left with the values that you create for yourself, while being fully conscious that they're just that. The Übermensch is Nietzsche's ideal human that uses a healthy will to power to express their power over life. In other words, you give all your might to express and create an existence that you are actually proud to be a part of because you were the one creating it. But this is where it gets dangerous. By creating your own values, you risk tricking yourself into believing they are absolute truths. Take for example social justice. Some people have questioned traditional values and created their own sense of justice. values. However, others have twisted their perception of these values and think they're the highest moral good, and those that don't follow them are literally Hitler. This is why there's so much polarization on the internet, because people have forgotten that their values aren't a moral law. It's so important to be fully conscious that you're the one creating these values, and that they only hold true for yourself and are completely dependent on you. Only then can you really start to build values that affirm your life, your body, and your mind as the core of your existence. I hope my yapping session wasn't too schizo for you, but all in all, I wish you the best of luck in your nihilistic journey.